Now let's look at the concept of multiplication and division of polynomial. So to start out, how do we multiply polynomials? So you multiply each term in the first polynomial by all the terms in the second polynomial. So this is just very easy to do. And to start, I'm going to talk about a very simple example. So let's say you have something like this, x plus 2, but this is not a polynomial. I have x plus 3. How do you multiply these two? So what this tells us to do is that the first term of the first polynomial, multiply it by everything in the second polynomial. So here we have what, x into bracket x plus 3. Then we'll take the second term and multiply it by everything on the other side. So we have plus 2. Then what is here again? X plus 3. So we expand. This gives me x squared plus 3x, and this gives me what? 2x plus 6. So this gives me x squared then plus 5x plus 6. So the same concept applies when I want to multiply polynomial. So in this example now, we are told to multiply this polynomial by this polynomial. So the first thing we do is that we take each term in the first polynomial and we multiply it by the second polynomial. So the first term here is what? 2x squared. So we multiply that with everything in the second polynomial, which is 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. Then we'll take the second term and we'll multiply it by everything in the second polynomial, which is what? 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. And we'll take the last term and multiply it by everything again in the polynomial. So we have 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. So we expand. Now 2x squared times 3x squared. So to explain that, let's write that out here. So we have 2x squared times 3x squared. So what do you do when you want to multiply two terms together? You multiply the whole number with the whole number. So here, or the coefficient by the coefficient. You have 2 times 3, which is what? 6. And you multiply the term x with this other term of x. So you have x squared times x squared. So if you remember the law of indices that we discussed, what do you do when you have two terms, x raised power a multiplied by x raised power b, when the b's are equal? So that is the same thing as saying x raised power a plus b. So in this case, x raised power 2 times x raised power 2 is the same thing as saying 6. Then you have x raised power 2 plus 2, which is equal to what? 6x raised power 4. So when you are multiplying two terms that contain x, what you do is that you combine those two terms together and you add their power. So this becomes 6x to the power of 4. Then minus here, you multiply the coefficient. 2 times minus 2 will give me minus 4. Then x squared times x raised power 1 will give me x raised power 2 plus 1, which is x raised power 3. You add that coefficient, 2 plus 1 gives me 3. Then 1 times this just gives me directly 2x squared. Then you do for the second term. 5 times 3 is what? You have 15, and you have x raised to power 3. X squared times x is x cubed. Then minus 5 times 2. 5 times minus 2 will give me minus 10. Then x raised power 1 and x raised power 1 give me x raised power 2. Then plus this times this will give me 5x. Then plus 6 times 3 is what? 18x squared. 6 times 2 is minus 12x, and 6 times 1 is 6. So now all you have to do is to collect like time. So you write the first time out, which is 6x raised power 4. Then write out the terms containing 3. So you have what? Minus 4x cubed. Then you have this plus 15x cubed. And that is all. Then you write the terms containing square, which are this plus 2x squared. Then you have this minus 10x squared. Then you have this plus 18x squared. Then write the terms containing only x, which is just made up of this term, plus 5x, and you have here minus 12x. You are left with only this, and you have plus 6. So you perform your normal operation, or you solve the terms together. So now you have minus 4x squared x cubed plus 15 plus 2. So what is minus 4 plus 15 plus 2? And that will give me 13. So I have what? Plus 13x per 3. Same thing you do with these two terms. You have, oh sorry, there's a mistake. Only these two terms have x to the power of 3. So I just have minus 4 and 15. So what would that be? That just give me what? Minus 11 or plus 11x per 3. Sorry, there's a mistake. I'm just adding this term and this term. Minus 4 plus 15 will give me what? 11x per 3. And now I have these three terms to add. So I have plus 2 minus 10 plus 18. And what would that give me? 8 plus 2 is 20, and 20 minus 10 is 10. So I'm left with plus 10x squared. Then I have plus 5x minus 12x, which give me what? Minus 7x. And I'm left with what? Plus 6. So this is equivalent to saying 6x power 4 plus 11x cubed, then plus 10x squared minus 7x, then plus 6. So that is pretty much how to go about multiplying polynomials. So how do we divide? So basically, we make use of long division, and to give a quick recap, I'm going to explain long division using simple examples. So let's assume I want to express 9 over 2, and I want to use the long division method. What do? I write this here 9, and I write the 2 outside. So I know that what 2 in 9 is what? 4. Then 4 times 2 is what? 8. So I minus it, and what do I have? I have 1. So what did I tell me? It tells me that this here, this 9 in this case, is called my what? It's called my dividend. Then the 2 is called my what? Divisor. Then the result, my 4, is called my quotient. And what is remaining at the end is called what? The remainder. So 9 divided by 4 is the same thing as what? 4 remainder 1. So 9 divided by 2 is 4 remainder 1. So we apply very much the same concept, this simple concept, just that now we are doing it in terms for polynomial. So there's only one condition that must be satisfied before you can do long division. And a polynomial of degree n can be divided by another polynomial of degree m if n greater than or equals to m. So what do I mean by that? So let's take a look at two polynomials. So let's say I have a polynomial of x squared plus 3x plus 5, and I have another polynomial, say x is per 3 plus x2 plus x plus 1. So now, what is the degree? The degree of this polynomial is the power to which the maximum power to which the x variable is raised. And as you can see, that the maximum power here is 2. So this is what? Second degree. So this is what? A 2-degree polynomial equation. While in this case, the highest power is a 3. So this is a what? 3-degree equation. So now, it's telling that I can only divide a polynomial by another polynomial if a polynomial n, if the divisor, the degree of the divisor m is less than that of the dividend. So as you can see in this case, if I call this a and I call this b, then if I say a divided by b, this is not possible, because in this case now, the degree here of n in this case is 2, and the degree of m in this case is what? Is 3, and I can see that my n is less than my m, so I can't do this with long division. But if I say I want to divide x cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1 over x squared plus 3x plus 5, then this is possible. Why? Because the maximum degree, because the degree of the dividend, which is 3, is greater than that of the divisor. So before you divide two polynomials, you must ensure that the degree of the dividend is greater than that of the divisor. So now let's try to apply that to show you how to go about solving it. So now let's start out by solving this stuff. So we are told to divide x cubed plus 8 by x squared minus 2x plus 4. So this is very straightforward. So now we know that this is our what? This is our dividend. That means what we want to divide, and this is our divisor, what we are dividing it by. So, and with long division, what do? we write our dividend inside and write our divisor outside. So we have what? X squared minus 2x plus 4. So now we ask ourselves an important question. How would I divide this by this? So the first thing you have to do is to look at this first coefficient, which is what? X cubed, and you ask yourself and look at the divisor, what would I multiply by this divisor in which I will get a coefficient or a term in which one of these terms will be x cubed. So if, or another way of thinking about it is by dividing this first term here by the first term in the divisor. And if I do that, for example, I have x cubed divided by x squared, and that is equals to x. So I know that if I multiply this term by x, I'm going to get x cubed. So I write x up. So I now multiply this by everything that is down here. And what would that give me? I will have x cubed minus 2x squared and plus 4x. So what would I do now? Now I will have to minus these two terms. So I have to minus. And now I've talked about subtracting of polynomials. So in this case now, I have to write it out clearly. I have x cubed plus 8, then minus x cubed minus 2x squared plus 4x. So how do I go about this? I expand first. I have x cubed plus 8, then minus will give me minus x cubed. Minus times minus is plus, and minus times plus is minus. So this one cancels out. X cubed minus x cubed cancels out. So I'm left with what? 2x squared minus 4x plus 8. So when I subtract this and this, I'm left with what? 2x squared minus 4x then plus 8. Now you ask yourself the same question. What would I multiply with this in which I'll get my first term to be 2x squared? So the same way we have thought about it, we can divide the first term here by this term here, and what would that give us? We have 2x squared over x squared, and that gives us what? 2. So if I multiply 2 by everything here, I'm going to get a 2x squared. So I just add a 2 to it and I expand. So 2 times x squared will give me 2x squared. 2 times minus 2x will give me minus 4x, and 2 times 4 will give me 8. So when I subtract all of that together, when I subtract this, I have the same thing. 2x squared minus 4x plus 8 minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 8, and I know that that will be equals to 0. And to show that again, remember that we have 2x squared minus 4x plus 8, then minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 8. And what would that be? That would be 2x squared minus 4x plus 8. Then you expand, you have minus 2x squared, minus times minus plus 4x, minus times plus minus 8. 2x squared cancelled minus 2x squared, minus 4x cancel plus 4x, and plus 8 cancel minus 8, and I'm left with 0. So now what does it mean? It means that when I divide this by this divided by this, so the result, which is also called the quotient, is what? X plus 2, and the remainder in this case is what? 0. So finally, let's try to solve another example so you can get a pretty good idea of what we're talking about. So now in this case, now we're told to divide this by this. So again, this is our what? Dividend, and this is our what? Divisor. So we'll write it out like this, like we've always been doing, and we'll write the dividend inside minus 2x plus 4, and we'll write the divisor outside x plus 2. So to start with again, like we have been doing, there are two ways to think about it. You can say, what would I multiply this term here by, in which I will get 3x squared? And if you think about it, you will have to multiply by 3x. I write 3x. Or another way to think about it is you divide the first term here, which is the greatest power of x, by the first term in the divisor, which is the greatest power of x. So in this case, I can say 3x squared over x. That means this over this, which gives me what? A 3x. So I know I can multiply this by 3x. When I write 3x here and I write 3x times 3x, I have 3x squared, and I have 3x times 2, I obtain what? A 6 here. So now what do? I subtract. So like we have been doing with the subtraction, similar to having 3x squared minus 2x plus 4, then minus open bracket 3x squared plus 6x. How do we go about that? We have 3x squared minus 2x plus 4, then expand minus 3x squared, then minus times plus, you have minus 6x. So 3x squared cancels minus 3x squared. So I'm left with minus 2x minus 6x, which give me what? Minus 8x. I'm left with plus 4. So what would this be equal to? This is like minus 2x minus 6x, which give me what? Minus 8x. And I bring down this 4 plus 4 essentially. So now I ask myself the same question: what can I multiply x with to get minus 8x? And it's pretty obvious. You have minus 8. Another way to think about it is you divide this by this first term here, which is minus 8x over x, which gives me minus 8. So I have to multiply by minus 8. So you get minus 8 here. So minus 8 times x gives me what? Minus 8x. And minus 8 times 2 gives me what? Minus 16. So now I have to subtract these two. So it's same as saying minus 8x plus 4. Then minus into bracket minus 8x minus 16. So you expand, you have minus 8x plus 4. Then minus times minus, you have plus 8x. Minus times minus, plus 16. So minus 8x cancels plus 8x. And you have 4 plus 16, which will give me 20. So same thing to look at it directly. You see minus 8x, you know minus times minus is plus. So you have minus 8x plus 8x, which gives me 0. And 4 plus 4 minus minus, which give me plus, then plus 16, which gives me 20. So the remainder in this case is what? 20. So now what does it mean? So you have 20 here. So what does it mean? It means that when you divide this by this, the result is this 3x minus 8, which is the quotient. And in this example, the remainder is what? The remainder is 20. So now I want you to note something interesting. And that is what? The division multiplied by the quotient plus the remainder will always give me the dividend. So it's like a rule to memorize. And to explain, I'm going to use two examples. So first, let's start with a simple example where you are just to divide 9 by 2. And as we've done before, you have 4 and you have 8. When you subtract, you have 1. So here, we found out that 9 is our what? Is our dividend. Then 2 is our what? Divisor. 4 is our what? Quotient. And 1 is our what? Remainder. So let's try to apply this rule. It says that the divisor times this quotient. So in this case, the divisor is what? 2. The quotient is what? 4. Then plus the remainder. And what is the remainder here? Plus 1. So let's try to evaluate that. 4 times 2 will be 8. And 8 plus 1 is what? 9. So we can see. And 9 is equal to what? The dividend. So the dividend, the divisor multiplied by the quotient plus the remainder equals to be dividend. And that applies to the polynomial. So for example, in the previous example that we have worked out now, we know that our dividend is what? Our dividend is 3x squared. Dividend is what? 3x squared. Then we have minus 2x plus 4. Then our 3x squared. Then you have minus 2x plus 4. Then what do we have? Then our divisor is what? Our divisor is x plus 2. So our divisor here is what? X plus 2. And our quotient is equals to what? This value here, 3x minus 8. So have our quotient to be equals to what? 3x minus 8. And our remainder is equals to what? 20. So we can apply this formula, which is the divisor, which is what? X plus 2 multiplied by the quotient, which is 3x minus 8, then plus the remainder plus 20 must be equals to the divisor. So we can try and check that out to see if it is equals to the dividend. So we expand, we have x times 3x, which give me 3x squared, and we have x times minus 8, which give me minus 8x, and we have 2 times 3, which give me plus 6x, and we have 2 times minus 18, which give me what? Minus 16. So in minus 8, then we have plus 20. So I'm left with 3x squared, then minus 8x plus 6x give me what? Minus 2x, and minus 16 plus 20 gives me what? Plus 4. So you can see that this is equals to what? The dividend. So in general, the divisor multiplied by the quotient plus the remainder will give me the dividend. So this sums up all you need to know with regards to the multiplication and division of polynomials.